Summer is officially here, baby, and we could think of no better way to stay cool this summer than by giving back to others. On September 1st, Laura and I will be donating $1 for every rating and $2 for every written review on Apple Podcasts to a charity that you, our listeners, get to help us pick. Follow us on our socials at Impolite Society Podcast to find out more about how we're going to be picking our charity and to weigh in and let us know what charity you want us to support. But that's not it, because not only are you helping us help others, you also have a chance to help yourself. Not only are we going to be cutting a check to a charity on September 1st, we are also going to be choosing a written review at random to win a $50 gift card and some Impolite Society swag. So if you leave us a review, let us know by taking a screenshot and emailing it to us at rude@impolitesocietypodcast.com or slip it into the DMs of any of our socials. Fixing this messed up world is hard, but when you take a couple seconds to leave us a rating on Apple Podcasts, you can rest assured that you did something positive with your summer and you helped us improve the world $1 at a time. Thank you so much for listening. Now to the show.
You're listening to Impolite Society with Laura and Rachel.
This is the story of a boy
who cried a river and drowned the whole world. I thought we weren't singing anymore, Rachel.
Okay, we're not singing on the main episode, and we're singing on Fan Friday.
Happy Friday, everybody! It's Friday!
It's the weekend.
And it is the last Friday of the month, and you know what that means. That means Impolite Society is answering your rude questions. I'm Laura.
I'm Rachel.
And on this podcast, we dig into the rude questions you can't discuss in polite society. And so we've got a rude question for you today. If you have a rude question or any other impolite thoughts, please send it to rude@impolitesocietypodcast.com or just drop us a line on the contact page on impolitesocietypodcast.com.
Or you can track us down on any of our socials. We are freaking everywhere these days. We got Instagram, we got Twitter, we got Facebook, we got TikTok. What? We're so young and so hip.
We're so cool, guys. And so this is where this little gem came from. It was from our contact page. Harry, from no location given. Harry, dude, you got to let us know where you're from so we can shout out your hometown.
Definitely.
All right. Hi, ladies. Love the podcast. Thank you.
My heart.
I heard a term the other day in an article that I wasn't familiar with. Incel. Did some Googling, and I got into a weird place. Seems like some rude guys. What's your take?
Oh, let us tell you, because there's this, you want to learn about an incel, you don't want to meet an incel. You don't want to creep into their lairs, because that's no fun.
Dark places, man. I think that's what he means. Yeah, weird places / dark places. And it was funny because I had this conversation with my husband like a month or so ago where he used this term, incel, in a conversation. And I was like, what is an incel? And he's like, you don't know what an incel is?
He's so offended.
Yeah.
Laura, keep up.
Yeah. Some big dramatic thing, like I'm some fucking idiot because I don't know what it was. And so I decided to prove him wrong, as is my mission in life, is to prove my husband wrong.
Hello, that's what marriage is.
Exactly. So I texted about 5 people or so to say, okay, what does incel mean? Don't Google it. Do you know? 3 out of 5 people had no idea what it was. So, Harry, I was right there with you. Don't feel bad. And I'm not even going to ask Rachel if she knows what it is, Miss Smarty Pants. Because
well, actually,
she was one of the 2 people that I text that did know.
I'm sorry I've been on the internet.
Well, that was kind of the attitude my husband took as well. So, but you, dear listener, you may not know as well. So we're here to give you the skinny today on incels. All right, so drum roll. What is incel? And incel is short for involuntary celibate. And immediately, if you Google incel, all I'm getting is articles about how incels are dangerous and how awful they are and how woman-hating and their rage factories just want to kill everyone and everything. And I'm a skeptical girl. So I'm sitting here thinking, really? Are they really that bad? Is it really that dangerous? And so the kind of distinction here, there can be a man who can't get laid and he wants to, and even if this lasts his whole life, that does not make him an incel, because one chooses to be an incel, which is a member of an online subculture. This person defines themselves as somebody who is unable to find a romantic partner, despite the fact that they want one. So they have categorized themselves as an incel, not just somebody who can't have sex but want to.
So step 1, nobody wants to bone
Yep.
you. Step 2, you have to be so upset about it that you get online and you find other people like you.
Yes, that is correct. So it's like an opt-in scenario. Because I just want to make it clear, because when I had done my initial Googling, I'm just like, really, men who can't have sex are like dangerous and like awful people? No, it's not that. It's these people who participate in this online forum of hate that kind of like create this hateful feedback loop.
All the angst and the sexual frustration just compounds.
Yes, exactly. So I just want to be a little disclaimer. We don't need to be afraid of awkward little Jimmy who just wants a girl to like him. Who doesn't? That's just being a human being. Everyone wants to be liked. I feel you, Jimmy.
So it's a subculture. It's on the internet. These angry, frustrated dudes with their big, heavy blue balls are on there typing away. Where the fuck did this come from? How do they all find each other?
Great question. So the first online community to use the term incel started in 1993. It was by a girl.
A girl.
Her name was Alana, and she made a website back in the premature days of the internet, those baby days. She made a site about, she couldn't get any booty. And she wanted to talk to people, men and women, about that kind of frustration. So it was a place for, quote, anybody of any gender who was lonely, had never had sex, who hadn't been in a relationship in a long time. Because this was a popular concept, several other boards started cropping up on the internet. So we've got incel support, loveshy.com, you got some subreddits, and then you got your 4chan.
Old blue balls itself. I don't think there's a lot of people getting laid on 4chan, but please tell me more.
So who are these people? Who are incels? Kind of hard to say, because all of this chit-chat, it takes place online. Hard data is really sketchy. So as to the demographics of this group, nobody really knows for sure. But if you read a bunch of articles, they'll say for sure they are 100% white males. But nobody really knows, because it's hard to poll a bunch of people who don't want to be polled, right? According to the Incel Wiki, yes, that is a thing.
Whoa.
According to them, they're also Asian males.
Some of them are Asian, or they're all Asian.
Big portion being Asian.
I could understand that plight, because I'm a Redditor. I love to go on Reddit. I have an account now. It's wild. I go on there and they have this whole Tinder, right? There's a Tinder subreddit. And the best thing about it is they have profile reviews. So you can go in, look at these people's Tinders. And so I go on there and I look at their profiles. I never really give them feedback, but there are so many average guys. And I feel like the thing that they're like, I'm not getting any matches. I feel like it's just because they're Asian.
Aww.
And it's so sad. I mean, granted, there could be a whole lot of other factors in there, but our culture is not favorable to our Asian homies.
I feel like some of these incels should probably pop on there and ask for some feedback on their Tinder profiles, because they are pissed. And I feel like they could use a little help from the homegirl. But like you said at the top, they don't give a fuck. They do not want to listen.
Oh, no. They want the poontang, but they don't want to listen to anybody who also owns a vagina.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's kind of a stalemate there.
Yeah, because holy Jesus, are they angry. So a few things that are common in incel communities. Number one, resentment. They are resentful AF, mostly at the women who reject them, but also to the world in general. So the men who do get girls, they hate ugly girls and fat girls for some reason.
Of course. Yeah. They all deserve a beautiful, attractive woman, right?
Yeah, and they are mad about it. And there's also a lot of misogyny. They are definitely mad at women at large. I will give you some excellent
we are
quotes at the
withholding
end.
sex from them. We, owners of vaginas, are not giving the vaginas to them to fuck. So obviously they're pissed at us and they hate women, because if you were starving and somebody had a big loaf of bread and they were over there saying, no,
You're going to be pissed.
this loaf of bread's not for you. Yeah.
You're going to be hungry and
That's
you're
why
going to be
we all hate
mad.
billionaires.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. Also, a big thing is this feeling of entitlement. So, like, women owe you sex. The world owes you something, which is pretty prominent. And also, weirdly, folded in here is a lot of racism.
Well, that's because we're looking at the nasty underbelly of the internet. So I feel like
It just pops
the worst,
up. Yeah.
just because if you're already like talking about raping and murdering women, what's a little racism sprinkled onto that?
Yeah, and also endorsement of violence. And this is against pretty much everyone who's ever gotten a piece in their entire life. So if somebody else is in a happy relationship or has also gotten laid at some point, they're really kind of hyper on not being cool with those people, and that might include violence.
I just can't. I mean, is sex that good? I mean,
Is it that important? I know.
that it consumes your whole life?
I hear you.
Jesus Christ.
And okay, so like all other subcultures, they have kind of their own incomprehensible lingo that if you were to read it, you're like, I don't know what the hell is going on here. Because I did. I popped on an incel community, which I'll tell you about later.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Did you cry?
A little
Or did you
on
like...
the inside. I absolutely did. You know, you can see the hate kind of pop out at you, but like a lot of terms that you don't know. So I want to define some of those for you today. There is a lot.
Yeah, we don't have time to be listing you a bunch of incel, like the encyclopedia.
Encyclopedia. And so there's a big thing about pills. Blue pill, red pill, white pill, black pill.
I've seen
And
it.
it all comes from the Matrix, like true nerds. The idea is blue pill is the lie. You take the blue pill, you stay in your happy little world and don't know the truth. And for an incel, this idea is life is fine. Nothing needs to change. I can still make it work. It's fine.
But what do you mean? Like the fact that they're not having sex, or the fact that they're fine as they are?
The fact is not necessarily that they're fine as they are, but like you can succeed. Basically, that there are no roadblocks in your way. All you need to do is, make some slight tweaks to your life and then you can make it work. That's the blue pill.
And is anybody in the community actually a blue pill, or are they just like using that to roast the jimmies that we talked about
There
earlier?
you go. That is exactly what it is. They're using it to roast other people, because the contrast to that is the red pill. The red pill lets you see the world as it is. And the definition of red pill in an incel community was actually kind of complicated and hard to find. I found multiple different definitions depending on where I went. One piece defined it as seeing the world, and this world is a place where feminism has given women too much power over men. Male privilege doesn't exist, and you're fucked. But I've also seen another definition. This is directly from incel.net.
Oh, it's network.
It's my old pals over there at incel.net, and they said it was, quote, a theory which suggests that people universally follow naturally predetermined laws. All women go for more alpha, which is aggressive, dominant, physically strong, influential, wealthy, and powerful men, and therefore one can compensate for poor genes by becoming a confident, assertive alpha male. So, in other words, what this is saying is that if you take the red pill, you recognize that all women are trash and all they want in the life is a alpha male. And the idea that maybe you can game the system by becoming a more confident and assertive alpha male to get that idea. But in general, all of it comes down to women are trash.
They're dumb. They're easily manipulated. So if you can't beat them, join them, right? These ladies want like the caveman to come bonk them over the head Be that
Yeah,
caveman.
that's kind of the idea.
Which is like...
Yeah, there's so much wrong with this. We're going to save that. We're going to unpack the billion ways why this is just fucking insane.
And okay, can we just talk about the poor jeans for a second? What does that mean? This is interesting. Let's dig into that like a little chipmunk.
I think the idea is that evolutionary biology is so stacked against them, there's no way they could possibly succeed. Because women, by gene, want a strong caveman to bonk them over the head, and they don't want anything to do with these awkward, weak-wristed. Honestly, that's a thing. They're talking a lot of talk about weak wrists. Yeah,
what? You would think they'd have very firm
from all
wrists.
the jerking that they got going on. No.
Oh yeah, you think they would have a very firm grip. That's all I gotta say
but
about the
that's the
matter.
idea, that the genes are so stacked against them, evolutionary biology is stacked against them, they cannot possibly win.
That's interesting. Some eugenics going on there.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy ass shit going on here. Okay, and then we have the last. No, not the.
There's more pills.
They also got the black pill, which is basically the depressed version of the red pill, which is feminism sucks, women are bitches, being a man is hard, wah wah wah. But oh well. Because everything and everyone sucks anyway, so fuck it all, we can't change anything. And I'm like, okay, of all of the blue, the red, and the black, I'm like, all right, I'm more on the black pill side already. Like, you know, fuck it, whatever. There's nothing I can do about it.
But you personally are in the black pill section?
If I had to choose of the three, yeah, the nihilistic side, I'd go with that one.
Fuck it all.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, what movie is that from? Do you even know, Rachel?
Let's move on to the next. We still got 2 more pills or 1 more pill. We got more pills to be taken.
We do. And that is the white pill. And guys, that is the pill that shall set you free. And so this is, quote, a worldview based on the maximization of happiness of an individual. By accepting his situation without denial or anger, the white pill extends the black pill, which is the is what it is mentality.
Yeah.
And it prescribes behavior.
So this one seems healthy, but tell me how it's secretly fucked up.
It's not. It's just not used. Like, it's just, I found it on the Incel wiki, and I did not see it referenced at all in my little stint in the Incel forums. But guys, this is where you should set your camp, guys, is the white pill. It is the pill that will set you free. And then there's some other lingo, and that is Stacy's and Chad's.
The villains of the incel world.
These are the men and women that are sexy. They are getting all the booty. They don't have to do anything. Booty is just flying at them. You know, Stacy's can have sex with whatever Chads they want. Chads can have sex with all the Stacys and all the, you know, not Stacys, whatever they want. They couldn't possibly have any other problems because they can get laid.
Do you think that in incel world we are Stacys?
No.
Why? Why do you think that?
Because they have a very definitive ranking that I will get to when I talk to it.
It's good to know we're not Stacys, but if we're not Stacys, what are the women that they don't want to have sex with? Are we just untouchables?
Sub-5s is what it is.
We
We're somewhere in
cannot
the
be
5,
sub-5s.
6. What a dumb name, by the way, Stacy.
It's like, I have never met a Stacy in my life.
I've never met a Stacy that was under the age of 30.
Exactly. It's like, oh, you know, we got out there with the, you know, the Chads and the Barbaras. God damn, do I want a Barbara. Other names instead of Stacy they should have used. Jessica.
Oh, Jessica Rabbit.
Ashley.
Okay, so incels. When did this hit people's radars? There has been angry people on the internet as far as the internet has been around. So why are they getting so much play right now?
Why did they pop up in Harry's news article?
Exactly. So some crazy people killed some folks. All right, I'm going to run through these people.
Wait, there's more than one crazy incel killer?
There is. Okay, so Elliot Rogers, he was 22 years old, and in 2014, he killed 6 people in Santa Barbara before he killed himself.
I remember that.
And he had a whole manifesto about why he did it. I think he posted it to YouTube. He wanted revenge against all the women who rejected him. And hot take on Elliot Rogers, who was like the incel hero for whatever reason. Like, people quote him. Because he's the first one who really got, like, publicity. He must have really been a fucking creep, because I was looking at pictures of him, and he's actually kind of cute. So there goes your theory about how girls only care about looks and they only want to be with good-looking guys, because he was actually pretty cute.
It's not the looks. When you radiate mass murderer energy, like, people pick up on that shit. You know, women, we're intuitive.
Yeah, we don't want to be murdered.
Ideally, I would say 9 out of 10 people don't want to be murdered.
Exactly. So I'm going to throw that theory out the window. But then in 2018, Alex Minasian, I don't know if I'm saying that right. He was 28.
You don't have to worry about saying it right. He doesn't deserve his name pronounced. Allerger Missin Minna and Idiot Roger. Oh my God, I'm going to get death threats now from the incels. Sorry.
Whatever. Who cares?
I'm not
never do
sorry
anything about it anyway. No, don't be sorry. So Alex drove his car through a group of pedestrians in Toronto, convicted of 10 counts of first-degree murder, 16 counts of attempted murder. Before the attack, he had posted something on Facebook about the incel rebellion has begun.
And this is how you defend your house. You just sprinkle a bunch of fleshlights on your front yard. And as they start to invade, they get distracted. And they're like, oh, shit. And then you just laugh from the windows.
I mean, those things got to be expensive, so I get it. So also in 2018, Scott Barely, he was 40. He killed 2 women, injured 4 women and a man before killing himself in a hot yoga studio in Tallahassee, Florida.
To be fair, I would want to kill myself in a hot yoga studio.
Hot yoga, God,
I mean, as soon as you step
rough.
in, you're just like, I'm done.
I did it twice. I thought I was going to barf all over myself both times, and I was done. So Scott, he was an incel member. He praised the work of Elliot Rogers, that first crazy person that I mentioned, so he can be attributed to the incel group. 2020, the most recent, Armando Hernandez Jr., 20, not white.
Good for him.
So shot up in entertainment district, and luckily didn't kill anyone. He self-identified as an incel, claimed he wanted to target couples and shoot at least 10 people.
Target couples?
People who are happily having sex.
Oh, couples aren't happily having sex, Laura. Let's be real. They're just having sex.
And, okay, there's several more of those, if you look it up, that you can attribute to incels. The other ones were not as definitive in their link to the incel community. They were a bunch of women hitting jerks who couldn't get any and were pissed about it. But it's uncertain if they were actually officially tied to these online forums. So I just want to give the full picture here as saying these are the ones that they can definitely trace back to being a part of incels.
So then, but it's so funny because, you know, the incels are linked to these mass shootings. And mass shootings are also linked to white males, right? The white loners. So then you can kind of see how it starts to get pieced together that incels are these lonely white dudes. And I'll just say, I must not be a lesbian truly, because I just do not understand the power of the pussy that much, you know? Like,
no, I don't
that
either. You
would get that angry. I don't get it.
All right, so Reddit banned all their incest.
No, that's still out there.
Yeah. Is it really?
Stepsister, you're stuck in the washing machine. You don't know anything about that stuck porn? That should be a whole
I heard
episode.
about it I saw it on Mom Swipes Left, and I was like, ew!
Yes, Mom Swipes Left. We love you.
We do love you guys. We have a podcast crush on you.
They're not listening. They're too cool to listen to us. It's fine. We'll get you one day.
Reddit banned all the incel groups in 2017. So you got to go elsewhere to creep on these idiots. And so this is where I went on to incel.net. I did not sign up because I'm not as committed as Rachel. I did not create my OnlyFans incel group.
Oh my God. Deep cover. Get on there. Make an incel and just start talking shit.
Oh God, I wanted to so bad. There were so many things I wanted to reply to. Yeah, I pulled some doozies here for you. So the first one is from Max Caddy, and he said, I'm 41, never had a girlfriend, only had one date at age 27, and she was a Thai woman. Have had to use escorts if I want sex. I have standards and cannot date/fuck fat women, chavs, no idea what a chav is, by the way, ill-bred girls, old women. though I don't think that's unreasonable. Well, Max Caddy, I'd like to tell you something. If you're 41 and you've never had consensual sex with any woman, maybe you should lower your standards a little bit. And maybe a fat woman isn't the worst thing that you could come across. So fuck off.
What? I can't date / fuck fat
What
women.
the hell is an ill-bred girl, by the way? What the fuck is that?
I can't even imagine, because I'm
don't
guessing that
even know.
if you can't get a date with these 10s you're shooting for, these 22-year-old beautiful models, you might be not so well bred yourself there, bug.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm gleaning from a lot of the chatter on Incel is they are looking at those 10s and they are pissed they can't get a 10. Newsflash, Incels, I can't get a 10 out of 10 on a man. I have never had a super hot guy hit on me ever in my entire life. And you know what? I'm okay with it.
And that's what I don't understand, that physical attraction is only so much, right? Like, what attracts me to a person is their personality and their height a little bit.
There was no talk of person. There was a lot of talk of height, actually.
I know, height's a thing, and I'm a height person. I get it, but not the height you're thinking of. 6'5" and above, truly. I like
Freakishly tall.
Give me someone who just climbed down the beanstalk. That's what I want in a man. Their arms, they're string beans, and they're long, and they're like noodles, and I just want to flop around. So don't call me a Stacy. Call me a Betty Spaghetti.
Betty Spaghetti. All right, so another quote here by Tupolev. He says, they, women, take everything out of context and make false accusations. The truth is they would rather point the finger at you than take a good long look in the mirror and realize they are the reasons why we feel apathy towards women in society. They have no one to blame but themselves. Their bullying is why I'm filled with burning hot hatred.
Jesus.
Okay,
Christ.
Tupolev.
Who am I bullying? I don't think I bully anybody in my day-to-day life.
Just by being a woman, apparently you're bullying people. But this is interesting because, you know, he has to blame other people for the way he feels. He can't take any ownership for what this is. It's all women's fault.
That's not how we do it here.
Yeah, he is 100% the victim. He has nothing to account for here. It is all our faults.
And he never even says, what are we supposed to be realizing? How are we the reason that we feel apathy towards women? And also, like, I probably don't interact with you, so I probably don't care that you don't feel empathetic towards me. Because I don't feel like you're a functioning member of society at this point.
No, none of these people are functioning members of society. So, and then the last quote we have here, kind of the doozy, which is Ropist. And he is an incel net master. He's a fancy boy.
One little vertical line away from his true calling.
Yeah, exactly. The rapist.
He is the net master. He is the master. He's got all these little incels licking his boots saying, please, sir, can I have another?
Quote, everything they say or do, women, is related to sex. Women don't have anything to offer besides their bodies. Thanks, Ropist.
That's why we have a podcast.
This is what we're selling. It's just our bodies, audio bodies. You can tell from the timbre of my voice how fucking Stacy I am, everyone.
We did have a joke about twerking and like clap our asses.
Clapping? Yeah.
Oh my God, this is great. We have nothing to offer but our bodies. False. We also cook and make sandwiches. Rapist.
Duh. And I mean, this was just after a brief look at the website. I mean, there was a lot more extreme stuff, but I felt like it was maybe a little bit out of context. I didn't want to do those incels wrong. You know,
I want to give them a fair portrayal so we can judge accordingly.
Exactly. And it's just it's just so much hate. And like I said, but also a lot of self-hatred. But again, I'm on board with that because the things you're saying are fucking awful.
Wait, you hate yourself? You might understand what it's like to be a woman.
I just wanted to give a little bit of perspective here because I am a skeptic by default. So if everybody's telling me one thing, I'm like, there's got to be another side to this story. Like, that's just kind of a hallmark of my personality, right? Well, and I started to dig and started to look into some different things. And I'm like, wow, I can't really find anything, quote, of defense. So then I went to the incel.net and I was like, oh, it's because they literally have none. They are fucking awful. It is just no holds bar. They are rotten. They hate women. They hate themselves. Yes. They hate pretty much everything and everyone. And that kind of leads into kind of our musing section.
I have a lot of opinions around this, and I feel like this is people who don't necessarily understand
social dynamics.
Social dynamics and how media is different than reality, because a lot of the movies that we grew up on, a lot of the media we grew up on, the average, totally no personality
gets
dude
the 10 girl. Yeah.
In the end, because he was just there? I don't know.
Yeah.
Guess who is writing these movies?
Nerds.
Dorky ass white dudes. And so of course they're going to get the girl in the end. But is that the way the world works? No. I mean, Shrek got the girl at the end, but because he was himself. And he
Shrek
talked
is charming.
To her.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Shrek is charming. He's funny. He's authentic. He's interesting. He doesn't give off a I'm going to axe murder you vibe.
By the definition, though, Shrek should be an incel, but he still gets the girl in the end. Be like Shrek. Be yourself. Kick people out of your swamp. Have a distaste for fairy tale creatures. It's the way it works.
Well, I think it really begets the question as I looked at this forum. It was, does not having sex make you crazy? Or does being crazy mean that no one wants to have sex with you? And I lean more on the side of being crazy means that no one wants to have sex with you.
Oh, for sure, because I think anyone can have sex. Truly, it's not as hard as you think. You just have to either accept that you are going to have sex with somebody who's
a 5,
yeah, who is
or
equally
4.
attractive to you, and you're probably a 5 or a 4, bro. Look in the mirror. What did our friends say about women? They rather point the finger than take a good long look in the mirror. Maybe that's where you start, and you look at yourself, you assess yourself, and you try to talk to a girl who's of equal attractiveness to you, because I bet there are people, everybody's looking for love. And this is where the incel thing is so, you can almost feel for them, because everybody wants to be loved. Our society tells you that is the way to happiness, is through a monogamous relationship. And I can get why you could be mad or disappointed or sad that you don't have that. But there's also women on the flippity flop who are looking for the same thing. You just have to not reduce them to their body and say that that's their only value, because that's just not true.
And that's not how you're going to get a girl. Like, you have, that's the thing, they talk about, I got rejected. It's like, yeah, if you're going for 9s and 10s, if you're a 5, yeah, you're going to get rejected. And that's the same thing for women. If I'm a 5 going for a 10, you bet he's going to reject my ass, unless he's drunk, in which case he's like, all right, let's go for it.
Yeah, if he's drunk and it's 2 a.m., right?
Yeah.
Because if it's like 9 or 10, there's still
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's still time to nab a 10. But at 2 a.m., he's ready to settle for a 5. And that's just what it is that you have to recognize where you are in the social strata, adjust accordingly, and again, not be a fucking psycho. Because if you are giving out creepy, I'm gonna murder you vibes, or creeper, I hate everyone and everything vibes, no one is interested in that. Ones aren't interested in that.
I mean, as much as I wish that was the case, I feel like women will tolerate a whole lot of shit.
Well, that's kind of one of their points, that they see beautiful women in abusive relationships, and they're like, oh, I would treat you so much better. I'm like, would you, if you feel like all their worth is their body and all you want them to do is sit in the kitchen?
If you're on an incel forum, you're not going to treat a woman any better than any Chad buddy.
Even if he beats the shit out of her, it's just a different kind of abuse. It's all the same.
Truly, Jesus fucking Christ. And it's just like, they go from a spot that's almost like you can feel for them to just...
Yeah, they take it so fucking far.
Bad shit insane that you're just like, oh my God. 8, nobody owes you anything in life. Like, I think we've talked about that. I know Laura's firmly in that
Nobody
camp.
owes you shit.
I believe we owe each other, like, some decency and some compassion. But compassion does not mean I have to spread my legs for you just because you're sad that you can't get someone to bone you. What?
Nobody owes you their delicate flower, guys.
It's delicate, and I'm saving it. Because that's the other thing. They want a woman who's chaste and there's pure, but then they also get mad when women won't sleep with them. But it's like, hello, we're saving our delicate flowers.
Yeah, it's completely paradoxical. Like, and what that made me think of is that victimhood mentality. These men see themselves as the victims of women and the victim of society. You know, we're rejected and there's nowhere we can go from here, so the only thing I can do is turn on them. It just makes me think of this victimhood as really a toxic personality trait. Like, how does that lead to anywhere good? If you can put all of the bad in your life on one person, you are the victim, this person is the perpetrator, how could that ever lead to somewhere productive?
I want to be on board. I want to be on board with that statement. But I feel like if you apply that in one direction, it goes vice versa. Mm-hmm. And then me and my feminist as a victim of the patriarchy, suddenly it makes me feel like, oh, feminists are female incels, which is not the case. But if you start to pave that road, the cars can drive both ways.
And I don't disagree with you, because I had spent some time on the, 2X chromosomes Reddit.
Yeah.
I found a lot of similarities. I'm not talking about the violence so much, but the disproportionate assignment of blame or victimhood. Like, on the 2X chromosomes, there were several posts. It was like, this guy looked at me funny in the drugstore. Should I be offended? And I'm like, no, he was probably had to fart and like looked in your direction. Like, that's what I'm saying. You put on these glasses, you look at everything through this lens of how should I be victimized by everything that's going on around me.
But I feel like the incels take this victimhood to the next level, where feminists are not saying we should kill all men.
Well, I don't think that there's a lot. I mean, there is a lot of hatred, but at least in my casual viewing, there was not a lot of, like, murder all women. Obviously, there are some people who feel that way, as we've seen in my list of people who killed. Well, then
nobody would fuck you.
Exactly. You wouldn't get fucked at all.
What do you get out of that?
But I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of hate, but there's not a lot of murder vibe.
Sure, there's the extremes. There's the extremes, all those dudes that we mentioned before. But do you think if you met any one of these guys, like any of these, average incel guys on the internet, do you think that they would be nice to you, or do you think that they would?
I think that they would be, if they would first try their awkward, yeah. And I'd be like, I'm not interested in moves, and I'm not interested in men who act like that. I'm not interested in women who act like that. I'm like, you're boring. I'm not interested. And yeah, I'm like, say what you mean what you say. I'm not interested. And then they would probably turn their backs to me, and I probably wouldn't even notice because they're small and insignificant. And there I go. I'm just giving I'm feeding their hatred. But guys, if I were going to give a tip to an incel, and this is the tip that I give to pretty much anyone ever, don't try to be interesting to people. Try to be interested.
Because bitches like to talk about themselves.
Well, everyone does. Just try to be interested in other people and what their lives are like, what their viewpoint is like. Like, that is the key to getting to know people, is curiosity. And honestly, it's the key to getting some enjoyment out of life. Be interested in the world. Don't come into it with all these different assumptions that I'm the victim, everyone hates me, blah, 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 blah. Just come into thinking, who are you? What are you all about? Because each individual person is a whole new world waiting to be opened. And if you come into this with this mentality of everyone's against me, you hate me already, then yeah, nobody's going to open their door to you. So my last thing I wanted to end on is how much of a threat are these people really? Because like I said, when you Google this, it's like, oh my God, they're the new thing. They're all going to come for us. They got the incels, the alt-right, they're awful. They're going to murder us all in our sleep.
And that's just saying that the alt-right can't get laid, which I'm like, I believe in. But I don't think those two things are necessarily affiliated.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I gleaned from my research. It's like there's a lot of press coverage on this. And because it is a sensational story, it is interesting. That's why we're talking about it. But I mean, honestly, I just think it's a bunch of mentally unstable dudes on the internet, and which has gone around for a long ass time. And yeah, there's been some people who acted on it. But I don't think that, we should be, if you know Jimmy down at the grocery store and he can't get a lady, don't be afraid of him. He's just lonely. It's okay. Unless you know that he's an incel, you're okay. And even if he is incel, he's just angry and upset and behind his keyboard.
The thing here is that's not like the fact that every lonely dude's going to murder someone, right? It's the fact that the internet breeds echo chambers.
Yes, preach,
which
sister.
builds the hate, which causes this kind of action. So when you fall into this community because you are lonely, because you are frustrated, because you are sad, it indoctrinates you to be this extreme and do these kind of things. So Reddit, you're right to shut down those groups because they don't do anything but make people worse.
Yeah.
And incel.net,
God have mercy on your soul.
If only somebody could pull the plug on that.
Like if you're just surrounded by crazy 100% and there's no expectation of being a functioning member of society, of course you're going to, de-evolve. You're going to go down to the level of everyone around you and you're all just feeding off each other's negative energy and insanity.
If you surround yourself with quote unquote toxic people, that's the world you live in. And so if you go down this rabbit hole of like red pills, blue pills, green pills, orange pills,
pink pills, no pink pills. We hate pink.
No pink, no rainbows.
We hate rainbows too. I'm sure they hate gay people too. I don't know for sure.
Yeah,
but
which
I'm
I
probably
can't imagine
sure they
why,
do.
because that should be one last child you got to worry about. Truly. Obviously, there is a threat there because there has been some of them that are linked to these mass murders. But is that also any more dangerous than your traditional heterosexual man who also commits murders?
Yes.
Or the countless men who kill their long-term partners? We're all just teetering on the edge of a knife on whether a man wants to keep us alive or not. Happy Friday.
Oh, God. That's such a depressing end. Okay, to wrap it up here, incels are fucking insane, guys. Harry, you're right. It went to a weird, dark place, and looking at all those posts on incel.net, which I recommend anyone go to look at. If you're like
you recommend that they do?
No, I do, because like I said, I'm a skeptical person, so I was reading all these, glamour and bustle articles, and I'm like, this can't possibly be as bad as they. No, it is. They're fucking rotten. So go take a look and see how fucking rotten these incels are, and know that some people are fucking crazy in the world. And also, women, trust your judgment. If you're with some weirdo that gives you weird vibes, shut that son of a bitch down and move on. He may roast you.
You do not owe him sex. You do not have to save that man.
He may roast you on incel.net, and it is worth it because you don't want nothing to do with this motherfucker. So thanks, Harry. Thanks for writing in. This was an interesting journey. I appreciated the ask. Thanks for tuning in for Fan Friday. Appreciate it. Send your rude questions to us. Let us know. Follow us on the Soch, all those ones that we mentioned.
And of course, remember to download, rate, and review. We are two nobodies who are really trying to claw our way up the insurmountable mountain that is 2 million podcasts.
Like
in the world.
whores we are.
The horse, we're just two Stacys out trying to make our way in the world. Just kidding. We're two sub-Stacys
Thelma's trying to make our ways in the world.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if we were Stacy's, we'd be on TikTok dancing.
Yeah,
but we ain't. Thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. And I think, what is that?
Oh, I hear them. They're coming.
It's the keyboard of all the incels writing their death threats to us. As we speak. It's okay. It's okay.
You'll get laid someday. Maybe.
We got plenty of fleshlights to throw at you. We'll even microwave them for a couple seconds so they're warm for you, baby. Okay, we done.